Hey y'all, iRick's Guy here, back again with another unboxing video. And you can check the link within this video's description to find where you can order this camera online, as well as the lens filters, screen protector, and various other accessories that I'll be using in conjunction with it. But this is the Sony A7RII, the Alpha 7 Romeo 2. It's a 35mm full frame, 42.4 megapixel, ISO 100 to 25,600, phase detection, 399 autofocus points, 5-axis steady shot inside, XGA OLED true finder. So it's a, if you've watched my previous videos, you know that I've gone around the block with cameras because I've tried to find one that'll exceed my expectations, but something that's not overly complicated to operate. Now I really enjoyed the GH4, but it's definitely a camera that one needs to be very proficient with manual mode to use, and for that reason started experimenting with Sony cameras, and I really became addicted to the performance of Sony cameras. It doesn't take an expert to get pro quality results, in my opinion. So it comes with an assortment of documentation here. Not going to bore you with all of that. And then, let's see, in here, I'm going to put the camera out. We're going to save that for last. Got a neck strap here. It says A7. Interesting, it doesn't say A7RII. That's something that some other people had commented about. But it's got that nice kind of sweat resistant type thing on the material, which is nice. And then let's see what else we've got in here. I'm honestly confused as to what this is, but I'm sure it's important, so I'll set it aside. Comes with a wall charger, and that's nice because with the previous Sony RX10 Mark II that I used, obviously it's not as high end of a camera, but it came with a little USB thing that plugged into the wall, and then a USB charging cable to charge the battery in the camera. But this will let me charge the batteries in standalone fashion, which that's nice. More convenient in certain scenarios. So that's everything out of that side. Let's see what we got in this side. Oh yeah. Got a battery right there. Obviously a Sony brand battery. It's a Sony NP-FW50, 1020 milliamps. One of the gripes with this camera has been the battery life, so it's nice to have extra batteries. This right here is a wall charger. You can see it's got the USB on the other side, so in addition to charging the battery by itself, you could charge the battery while it's in the camera with that. So that's nice they included that as well. And I think they acknowledged that, hey, the battery life's probably not as good as we wanted it to be. So it came with 2 batteries instead of 1. That's nice. What's great about these batteries, they're so small and they're so lightweight that even having to carry a few extras, in my opinion, is worth it. I mean, it's not like a drone where you've got a really big drone versus a small drone. These are just, you know, batteries versus, I mean, they're small batteries, so it's not a burden, in my opinion. And then you've got the USB sync / charging cable, and I'm just going to leave that in the box because I've got so many of these things sitting around. that I don't need to use another one. So let's look at the camera itself now. I know that was, that's probably what you're most curious about. Get this box out of the way here so I don't get cardboard cuts. So the camera, immediately when I pick it up, and this is after using an RX10 Mark II, the build quality of this obviously feels superior. The size, curiously enough, without the lens, I was expecting it to possibly be a lot larger, and it's actually not. Before I use any camera equipment, the first thing I always do is put on a screen protector. So I've got this right here, and it's easy for someone to get excited and they want to start using a camera and then they scratch the screen on the back. Sure it doesn't have any dust on it. Hold on just a second. Yeah, so I get excited about using the camera, and then they get a spot or a scratch on the screen, and it bothers them from that point forward. And if they had just taken the time to put a screen protector on immediately, and check the link within this video's description, you can find this screen protector. This is actually the name brand protector. There's a lot of third-party ones out there too, but I used a Sony screen protector on my RX10 Mark II as well, and it worked really well. So as an added bonus to this unboxing video, you're going to get to see the installation of the Sony screen protector. You can see right there it says Sony, and then on the back of the A7RII it says Sony down there. So you kind of line this up here. I'm going to stop talking. And if you're like me, if you don't have something like that precisely lined up, it's going to drive you absolutely bonkers from that point forward. So it is worth noting that I did have to take it off and put it back on a few times because I didn't have it precisely lined up. But now it looks perfect. So see, you can't even tell that screen. Well, I mean, if you look at it from the side, you can see it's a little bit thicker, but I mean, your average onlooker is not going to be able to tell that there's a screen protector installed on that. And that small amount of additional effort can really can hopefully prolong this investment. So I've got that on there. Let's look at the camera itself in a lot of detail now that we've got the protector on it. So on the top, you have the hot shoe, and this should slide right out. There it goes. So I can use the same microphone, actually the microphone that I'm using to film this video on the camcorder, I can use it on my A7RII as well. This is a hot shoe, and when it's not in use, you can put that back on there. Something that is nice about this is that, see this button in the middle? When you push it, well, it should lock. Let's see. I assume that's what that was. Let me put a battery in here. Maybe I've got a little bit of juice in this battery. Yeah, it's got some power to it. I was saying I was assuming this button right here would enable this to lock the mode. Oh, it does. You push it down and then it locks. See, and that's nice because when you're traveling, you're throwing this in your backpack, whatever, you don't inadvertently change among the modes. So see, now it won't twist. You've got to push down to twist it. Some people complain about that. I personally like it because that way, if I'm shooting stills in auto mode, I won't inadvertently knock it over to another mode. And likewise, if I'm shooting video in the video mode, I won't knock it to another mode as well. The display is very sharp, just like the previous RX10 Mark II that I was using. The display is extremely sharp, and so is your viewfinder in the top. Just a great way to confirm proper visual alignment and really get those good videos and photos. On the left side over here, we've got HDMI. Now, it's not the full size HDMI; it's whatever size they call it. But you can get that. Those cables are a dime a dozen for, well, not literally a dime a dozen, but they're very easy to come by. And then you've got your jack for the USB cable that was included for charging and/or syncing. On this side over here, you've got your SD card slot. Now, keep in mind, especially with 4K video, you're going to want a very high-speed card. And again, check the link within this video's description, and you can find the card that I use, that I will use rather, with this camera. It's the one that I use from RX10 Mark II, and it's specifically made for those high-speed read and writes. One of the gripes that people have about this camera is that you can see the viewfinder on the back, or the LCD display. It goes up, and it'll go down like that. So if you're shooting it over your head, but it doesn't go out to the side. So if you're doing face on video, you're probably going to want to have an external field monitor, or you may just want to pair your smartphone or tablet with this by way of the app, so you can use that as a viewfinder of sorts. But yeah, the build quality feels really good. And again, this is just out of the box. I'm gonna review several different lenses with this camera, and we're really just gonna tear it apart from a performance perspective. So I mean, the tactile feel is great, and the ergonomics, in my opinion, are great. It's going to be interesting to see how it feels with a lens on it. I got a couple of lenses. Check the link within this video's description. I've got one that's smaller for travel, and then I've got a larger one that I'll use in other scenarios. But full frame camera. The still photo quality of this is supposed to be absolutely phenomenal, and then also the 4K video quality. So definitely a leap forward. Can't wait to test it. This is just the unboxing video, but here it is, a Sony Alpha A7RII. Just a really high quality camera. Arguably one of the best cameras on the market today for both stills and video. So we'll see what it does. I know I'm always looking to take my productions to the next level, and this is something, this is a tool that hopefully will enable me to do that. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe. It's youtube.com/IRIXGuy. Y'all have a good day.